is to work on the history process. The history process is an Azure function. Azure functions are serverless code that are triggered by events. We don't need to worry about the infrastructure because everything is provided by Azure, and the only thing that we need to worry about it is coding. It is good because it is based on triggers. In this case, it is the Azure function is triggered by the Azure Service Bus once the message has once the subscription has a message, as we can see here. Remember that we have the history subscription, and once it gets a message, it is going to trigger our process. The process is going to handle the message, and what it's going to do is to just send the message into our Cosmos DB. Azure Functions also manage some bindings. Bindings is the output data, and Azure Function has several of those. Azure Service, Azure Function bindings. We can see a complete table of those in the documentation. So here are some, we have two versions now of Azure Functions, 1 and 2, and we have triggers and bindings. We need to see if it supports them. Like in this case, we have the version 2 has the Azure function as an output, which is what we want. Also, we need to make sure that it supports the service bus as the trigger, so we can see it supports it. So we can go back and start working on it. The first thing, we need to create a Azure service function. Remember that we have a topic. The topic is where the message is received in the Azure Service Bus. Once the topic receives the message, it sends the information to the subscriptions. And we have a diagram here that we used before. So we have the publisher. The publisher sends the message to the topic. The topic distributes based on rules. In this case, we don't have any rules, so it is gonna just send every message to each subscription. And in this case, consumers are subscribed to those subscriptions, and once the message is read by the consumer, the message disappears from the subscription. So that's how it works. And let's start working on the history process. For that, let's open a Visual Studio. Let's create a new project. The project is gonna be an Azure function. We're gonna use .NET 6. This is gonna be the history process. Azure function. We have different templates for triggers, and the one we want is the service bus topic trigger. So what is the name of the topic? We need to go and check again. So we have the topic is transaction topic. Copy this one. paste it here. Subscription name. The subscription name is the history subscription that we have here. Let's go to the subscriptions that we have, and we call it history subscription. And the connection string for this one, we need to go to the actual service bus. We need to go to the root manager access and copy the primary connection string, which is going to allow to connect to the Azure service bus. So let's wait until it finishes setting up a project. Okay, so we have our Azure function here. We see that we have a trigger. The trigger is the service bus trigger, and we configure here our name of our topic, the name of the subscription, and the connection string to our service bus. The message is gonna be received here. So we have some errors. Let's just don't worry about them. We can actually, it is working right now. If we run this application, we should be reading some messages that we already have running or on our subscription. Let's go to topics, searching topics. Let's go to history. We have 75 messages. So let's just put a breakpoint here. Let's debug the application. I don't know why it's not reading the ServiceBusTriggers. So we just had to add that native package library. Once installed the Azure Messaging Service Bus, um, we can work on the Service Bus trigger, and let's run the application again. Event credentials. We have the primary connection string. Let's check the documentation. Service bus trigger. We're using version 4. Theme topic subscription name. Use access. So the connection is a property is a reference to environment configuration which specifies how the app should connect to a service bus. The name of the application setting containing a connection string. So the connection string is obtained in the get manager credentials. That's what we did. We created the service bus. We didn't add roles. We had to install the service bus package. Okay, So the connection string must be a service bus namespace not limited to specific keyword topic. This connection string should be stored in the application setting, which with a name matching the value specified by the connection. Let's do that then. So next step, although it should work like this, but let's just pa, pa, pa. Let's create the local settings JSON. Let's add the connections from here. Service bus connection. To add it here. So if we set up the connection to my service bus, the function runtimes look for an app setting named Azure Web Job My Service Bus. If you leave connection empty, the function runtime uses the default service bus connection string in the app setting. In the app setting that is named Azure Web Jobs. Also, it says here that the connection to my service bus is gonna search for Azure Web Jobs My Service Bus. Let's try again. Okay, it's working now, and it contains our first message. Let's stop this because it said it even found the connection, USB connection. Let's just run this again. Okay, nice working as expected. The message that we're getting right now is the transaction request sent by our service, transaction microservice. So let's try to read that one. Let's open the transaction microservice to see what we are sending. So we are sending a transaction model, and this transaction model this is the message that we are sending. We can see from the transaction controller that we're sending to we're publishing the transaction model. So this is what we're gonna be reading. And actually we can see that we can compare what we are receiving here. Let's so we are sending an ID, type, creation, account ID, creation date, type, amount, and the ID. So this is the one that we need here to deserialize. Let's create new class. Let's create a new class for transaction model. Let's just copy and paste what we have. We need this one. We need this. And we need the columns.